So dear friends, we are closing in the month of August, and in a few days' time we begin the month of September. It's the last Sunday of August and the 21st Sunday of the year. Let me begin with the message of the Gospel of the readings for this week. It's quite a powerful one. It starts in a simple way, but Jesus makes his disciples think, and so too all of us. In fact, the Gospel, Matthew chapter 16, gives us the kernel of Jesus' own kingship, his message, and especially what perhaps we as followers of Jesus should look up to. There are three important words there, which I will try to analyze a little. The first one is not a word, but it's a question. Who do people say I am? Who do people say I am? The question that Jesus asks. The second is the meaning of the key. It's mentioned twice in the readings of today. And thirdly, not only the question, but also the answer that Peter gives, you are the Son of God. First of all, as I said, the question that Jesus asks his disciples and each one of us. The first instance, Jesus asks them, who do people say I am? I would say this is the first level of you can't call it a faith level, but a sort of a religious feeling. Most of our religion is what we have learned, what we have read, what we have heard. And Jesus also sort of goes step by step. He asks the disciples, what do the people say about me? And very rightly they give the answers. They say, some think you are a prophet, some think you are Elijah, some say perhaps you are the John the Baptist. And then Jesus settles down to the most important question, which Jesus asks me, you and everybody. Who do you say I am? Who do you say I am? In the realm of relationships, they say it can be a shallow relationship if we are just floating around people and getting the impressions or listening to the gossip, asking some questions, answers. But when two people meet together, when two people call themselves friends, or perhaps even family members, why? A couple, a married couple, they should know each other very well. There is nothing that can be hidden from this type of sort of intimacy that you have. And so Jesus asked them. The pointed question is, who do you say I am? It makes us think. I myself, I have thought about this for so long time. Whom do I consider Jesus in my life? Whom do I say who is the Savior of my life? Do I need Jesus only when I need some things, when I am scared, when I am frightened? It's like the Aladdin's lamp that I pick up and say that, Jesus help me, Jesus help me. Or is it an intimate relationship of trust, of faith, of a confidence to say that Jesus will never abandon me? And that is what Jesus wants from his disciples, to say that, because you have lived with me for so many years, for 2-3 years. And Jesus asked them, who do you say I am? I hope this question keeps reverberating in your mind. You may not find an answer immediately, because it's not an answer that you can give, not just in words, but in your feelings, in your intimacy, in your experience, in your personality. Secondly, as I said, St. Peter gives an answer. And Jesus is pleased with that answer, because St. Peter recognizes Jesus as he is. You are the Son of God. And Jesus not only is happy about it, he appreciates him and said, Son Simon, you have not uttered it yourself, It's not that has come from your flesh and blood, but the Spirit has inspired you. God has inspired you. So therefore we need God also to give answers to our situations. Just as St. Paul would say in the letter to the Romans chapter 8, we can call God Abba because of the Spirit urging in us. So the Spirit also gives certain answers to us, as we see in the life of Peter, that he said, "You are the Son of God." Am I able to say it? Am I in all faith and confidence? Can I say that you are the Son of God, my Savior? Perhaps in that lies the answer to not only to my question about my life. If I trust the Lord so much that I can acknowledge Him in my dreams, in my lifetimes, in my difficulties, in my joys, perhaps that would be beautiful. But as I said, we don't come to this answer all of a sudden. It's not a textbook answer. It has to come from within. And therefore our faith has to grow and mature. If at the first level we are at the level of what people say, what I have read, what I have heard, what I have perhaps a little that I have experienced here and there, that's not enough. The real answer that you are the Son of God has to come from my heart. The third, perhaps an aspect that I would like to say, because it's mentioned twice in today's readings, what we call the key. The key. For St. Peter, Jesus says, "I shall give you the keys of the kingdom." In the first reading of Isaiah, chapter 22, it's also said about a certain Eliakim, and this particular person is endowed not only with God's gifts, but also a key is placed on his shoulder. We know the meaning of a key. Key is as good as opening a door to go inside. When we say key in our business, in our affairs, we say key is the secret or perhaps the solution to our problems. It's enough that I have the key of the room. Everything is else inside. It's enough that I have the key of the car. I can drive it. Key of the bike. Or perhaps in the computer language we say we need to have the key of that particular solution or problem, or perhaps a particular gadget that will solve us. And so also Jesus gives the keys of the kingdom to certain people. To give a key is to give a responsibility. To give a key is to say that I trust this person with everything that I'm handing over. You know, when we are handing over charge from one priest to another priest, from one factory manager to another, we give a key. That's a sign and symbol of authority. That's a sign and symbol of trust. And so for the answer that Peter has given, "You are the Son of God," Jesus does give him the keys. We mean to say, "You have become one of my household now." You know, whom do we give the keys? We don't give the keys to the servants. Of course, they can open it, but afterwards they say, "Leave the keys here and go." But a friend, a family person is surely, we don't ask, "Give my keys every day, give my keys, keep them here, I trust you." And so, trusting with responsibility. So my dear brothers and sisters, we have this beautiful gospel today where Jesus asks us this question, "Who do you say I am?" And the answer will inspire Jesus also to invest with me with responsibility. If I can say that Jesus is the Son of God, the Savior of my life, the King of my life, surely Jesus will entrust me with the responsibility. The responsibility could be anything. It could be a family affairs. It could be perhaps some spiritual secrets, or perhaps something that of which you, not only you, the others will benefit. And so this is the type of key that God gives you in order to say that He trusts you. Let us ask the Lord to give us these keys. Before that we confess ourselves joyfully to say that you are the Savior of my life. You are the Son of God in my life. I now take you to, we have had a beautiful event this week. Not only national, international. I am speaking of the Chandrayaan-3 2003, the lunar module that was sent up to the moon, and it soft landed so beautifully. There were millions of people watching all over the country and perhaps even abroad. And this is supposed to be a milestone in the life of Indian astronomy, the astronauts, and the sciences of the stars. That India, as a nation, perhaps we may not have been so great and developed like the others, but then in a science like this, we are supposed to be one of the 4 countries that have managed to place these lunar modules on the moon. And the first one for India is first in placing this module, as it were, on the dark side of the moon, which is supposed to be a little watery, etc. Meaning to say, we have surpassed many boundaries. We have surpassed many milestones. No wonder our Honorable Prime Minister praised the scientists, more than 100 of them, the situations in Bangalore, that they were working together and they have produced this module to send up in the moon. And the Prime Minister congratulated them and said that they have really made India proud. The CBCI President, Archbishop Andrews Talat, also on behalf of the Church in India, congratulated the scientists and said it's a great event and a milestone for the mankind itself, because through the progress of science, we all stand to gain. Let us all feel proud about it. Let us bless and thank God that this was possible. Let us also sort of give our appreciation to thousands of those people who have put day and night work to make it 100% successful, that landed on the moon itself. The pictures are coming, and perhaps they will analyze them and tell us what are the things that are challenges that are waiting for us, and at the same time what are the benefits that we can accrue from this great event in the Indian history. I take you to another topic, perhaps a little challenging one. This Sunday, as I said last time, the Indian Church celebrates a Justice Sunday. And I have explained to you what means justice and why is it celebrated. I would like to take the point of what's called the human rights, the human right violations that are taking place all across the globe and especially in India. And Justice Sunday is to remind us that people are equal. There is no partiality, that we cannot make any partiality among the people. That all the people, irrespective of their caste, creed, language, culture, are one. But then we find day after day human right violations everywhere, and for which perhaps we have to be conscious. For example, the women. They are considered a commodity. There are so many things happening about women. We have seen some time back the pictures that came from Manipur, how they were treated badly. The specially abled, the poor, the marginalized, the migrants, it's as good as they have no rights. We have seen pictures of how they returned after the COVID. They went of their own. They walked the whole distance. Nobody bothered about them. 1,000 miles or more than that. They were carrying Pakistan. So many of them died on the way. So therefore the human right violations are very strong. They are not only in the field of the persons, they are in the field of knowledge, they are in the field of existence and experience. The freedom of religion, the freedom of the press, the writers and the other literates perhaps who are put behind bars. The human rights activists who work for the poor people, who work for the forest dwellers, that they are put into prison. Father Stan Swami was one such example, and so many others who are lying in so many prisons without any trial, without any justice, without any perhaps even human kindness to them. So therefore, India is great as a nation, as we have seen in our achievements of sending what we call the lunar module to the moon itself. But that is not sufficient. That is a great thing for us and we shall always be proud of it. But let us also work to make India a country that respects human beings, that salutes human dignity, and at the same time treats everybody equally. Tomorrow begins also the screening of the film of Face of the Faceless. I have spoken about it last time. This is a film or special attempt has been made to portray the life of Sister Rani Maria of Indore, of Bhopal, who died, or rather who was killed because of her good works, especially in the social rights, the human rights, the uplifting the life of the women and the poor people there. So this film is supposed to be a beautiful one, and the first screening takes place in Bangalore tomorrow, 27th. You see the placard there, and later on it will be in other places. There will also be chances for people to watch it in their own parishes, in their own halls, in their own perhaps places where it's possible to see, in order to experience towards and appreciate the soul, the sacrifice of this particular sister who laid down her life for the others. I would welcome all of you to see it. Perhaps a small charge will be also requested of you, because the organizers, I am told, they have made of this film of their own expenses, of their own collections, of their own resources, and therefore they need to be encouraged and helped to, and surely we will patronize this particular film in our Archdiocese, The Face of the Faceless. On 29th of this month, that's Tuesday, we begin the Novena. We begin with a flag hoisting prior to the Novena of Our Lady in the Basilica, St. Mary's Basilica, and at Sivajinagar, of course. And I'm sure that a lot of people will frequent this particular spiritual event in our Archdiocese. In years gone by, we have seen how people flock to the Basilica. They come from far away. They don't mind the distances, they don't mind perhaps the sacrifices that they have made, but all out of love of Mother Mary, they come flocking to the Basilica. So on 29th will be the flag hoisting, and we are happy to note that Cardinal Anthony Pula of Hyderabad will be there with us. And every day of the Novena, there will be a lot of devotions and especially masses celebrated in the Basilica, and every day evening there will be what we call the flag hoisting. And for these flag hoistings of every day, we will be calling different religious heads, also some VIPs from among the government, the IAS and the IPS officers who are very much helpful to us, and we would like to thank them also without wasting much time. And the Novena prayers also will be recited. So I request you once again to be part of this religious fervor, enthusiasm and devotion to Mother Mary at St. Mary's Basilica at Sivajinagar. I have spoken in the past about what's called the registration desks for the electoral rolls. Every 3 months, the government gives a chance for us to re-register, or rather to review and to examine our voting cards, voting ID cards. Perhaps sometimes when you don't vote for 1 year, it does happen that your names may not appear again, because the ones who come to check, they think that you are not there. Sometimes perhaps when we have not voted also, it may not appear, and so it's important for each one of us to check our voting cards, the day, the date of birth, the name, the gender, all these details, the address, so that sometimes it may be that you are in this place but your name is listed in some other place. So therefore it's important that we start this exercise, which in view of our next elections, the parliamentary elections of 2024, will be very, very useful. So therefore I request the parish priest to start in a small way at every Mass, after the Sunday Mass, to put up a desk, and those people who are involved in it to work for it, so that they can also benefit and help others benefit by their work of registering, re-registering, or perhaps sometimes correcting their ID cards. There are many youth among us who are 17, 18. The government allows you even before you come to the age of 18 to register so that you can register in the next one. So if you are above 17, you can still register. And those who have crossed 18, perhaps not voted last time, not registered, this is the best time for you to register your voting ID and get a voter's ID card. On Saturday, on Friday this week, we had a special meeting of the priests who took charge as parish priests this year, and also the assistants who took charge in different parishes. The morning session on Friday of this week was the parish priest. We called them together. They have taken charge, and many of them are, of course, first-time parish priests. The others, of course, especially among the religious, they had some experience, but then we explained to them the peculiarities of being a parish priest. A parish priest is a pastor, one who goes out in search of the lost and the least. And therefore, as a spiritual leader, he has to be close to God and close to the people. I have told the parish priest what it means to be a parish priest, to visit the houses, to be close to the people, to gather the people at different occasions, to make the church a home for them, a house of God for them. And for this, they have to constantly collaborate, they have to cooperate, they have to relate to so many people. And not only is the parish and pastoral matters, also the material matters like the properties, like the accounts, like the monies that they get. These are also important things so as to be of help and service to the parish. The parish priests were very enthusiastic and they had a lot of questions to ask, and we tried to sort of answer them and to give them courage to say that Bangalore is a city where the faith is alive. It's only that the priests have to raise up this sort of devotion of the people and to make them feel that God is present among them. The better, or rather I would say, my happy experience with the assistants. They are young priests. Some of them ordained just 1 or 2 years. Some have just come from the missions. And also among the religious, there are many who have worked in the different parishes, different states, different countries even, who have come together as assistants in different parish. As the word says, assistant, meant to assist. And therefore we have told the priests, the assistant priests, that they should be the first ones to be out on the field, helping and supporting first of all the parish priest, at the same time the people. Their dress code, their manner of reaching out to the people, their relationships, their sermons, their celebrations of the sacraments, all these are very important. And fortunately, we have a good set of young people, young priests, who are very much proficient in the modern techniques. They are computer savvy, they have the use of the mobiles, they are also talented as singers, perhaps organizers, etc. And to put all this into use, but above all, to be a man of God, to be close to the Lord, to say what we call the prayers of the church, at the same time Eucharist and the other sacraments to be celebrated, so that the people can imbue from them, get out from them those graces that very much the people are in need of. I have told them to visit the houses, to visit the hospitals, and to be close to the people. So please encourage our priests, first of all the newly appointed, and also the assistants that are placed in the different parishes this year. Our priests are human, but I say that our priests are special. In spite of the challenging situations in many parishes, in many substations, in many missions, that our priests can still perhaps say that we are at the service of the people. It's great. God bless them. Please pray for them, and please pray for the Archdiocese in a very special way.
By our beloved Archbishop, Most Reverend Dr. Peter Machado, the Archbishop of Bangalore, who takes so much of interest and concern in order to bring the various topics, the contextual aspects, in order to inform, educate, and catechize all of us, the priests, the religious, and faithful of this vast archdiocese. And I'm sure you are enjoying this program, Shepherd's Voice, and I request each one of you to share with your other colleagues, friends, and family and relatives, near and dear ones, so that everyone in this archdiocese can be more closer to listen to the Archbishop on this Shepherd's Voice, the weekly feature. My dear friends, as I've always told, that this is a wonderful platform wherein we can connect to the shepherd of this archdiocese, wherein he brings in the interesting topics in order to increase our devotion and love towards God, and also to know the spiritual matters that concerns our faith. In a very special way, you are most welcome to ask your questions, queries, and you can send them to us at archdblr@gmail.com, and you will also see our mobile number in and through which you can connect with our media center, Ave Studios, and the Archdiocesan Communication Center. Please do write to us your feedback, your opinions. Thank you. Continue to watch and continue to share with others.